on the way to work. I have to be there at 3 p.m. It takes me an hour to get to work, but I leave early so I can get there just a tad bit early to prevent from being late. But you know, I just wanted to make a quick video to let y'all tap into my mind on how I feel about my job, my schedule, me being an employee, yada yada yada. So a little backstory real quick. I've been working a job since I was 16 years old. Throughout like that time up until this day, like throughout college, I fluctuated from full-time to part-time to like 1 day a week to where I'm at right now, which is 3 days a week. And I decided to do that, take that sacrifice, so those other 4 days that I'm not working for somebody else, I can work for myself. I can work on my businesses. I can be creative and just get my creative juices flowing and record that. Because when you work for somebody else 5 days a week, when you just got them little 2 days, whether it's the weekend or 2 random days or whatever, like that's just not enough. It's not enough for you to take care of you, take care of your household, you know, do errands, clean, and then work on whatever you want to work on outside of that. At least that's the situation for me, who is in which I am an inspiring entrepreneur. Of course, if you don't have a business on the side, you don't have projects you're working on, you don't have other stuff that you're working on the side, and you just solely work your job, then that may work for you, but it doesn't work for me. Hi, it's me from the future here to interject real quick. It's actually the next day from the day that I recorded that first video. Today is December 11th. It is currently 6:06 a.m. and I realized I forgot the whole reason that I recorded that video, but I have been reminded. So yeah, the whole reason I wanted to make that video and kind of go on a rant about my job, the whole point, I wanted to explain how I feel they're so inconsiderate. So yesterday, I was scheduled a shift to be there at 3 p.m. It was a wedding event. The wedding ended at, I want to say 10:30, 11. So after that, of course, we had cleanup, yada, yada, yada. Long story short, we, and this is to be expected with the wedding, we clocked out at like 11:35 p.m., almost midnight. Remind you, I do work an hour away from my home. When it's late like that or it's no traffic, it can take me like 50 minutes. But anyway, still a long time. Today, I was scheduled at 5 a.m. and I'm actually scheduled for a double. So I have to work 5 a.m. in the morning and I have to work 3 p.m. this evening again for another wedding. And this isn't the type of thing where, okay, in between those 2 shifts, because there's going to be time in between those 2 shifts, I can like go home and take a nap or lay down for a little bit. No, because I work an hour away. It's a whole different city, so I can't just get in my car and go home. So a lot of times I end up like just driving somewhere and taking a nap in my car. But my thing is, it's like, yes, I understand we're short-staffed, but no one talks about that. No one says, hey, I understand it's hard for you to get here at 5 a.m. when you clocked out at 11:35 p.m. and most of us, you know, as they know, live far away. So it's just the things like that I'm just over. I'll get into at the end of this video, go more into detail how I really feel, but I had to interject real quick because that was the whole point. Like, I just needed to turn the camera on real quick in the midst of me doing that. So just in case you didn't catch it, like I said, I was scheduled to be there at 5 a.m. and it's currently 6:09 a.m. because I'm on the way to work right now because I couldn't wake up that early. Like, I would have to wake up at 3:30 to leave my house at 4 to get there at 5. And I just did not have enough rest. And I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself. I shouldn't be put in a situation, because I do trust myself, but I shouldn't be put in a situation where I have to drive across that bridge twice in one day when I have not gotten enough rest. But they don't think about that. So y'all may know, if you see my previous videos, will. And I cannot remember the quote like verbatim, but I'm going to put it on the screen. But basically the idea of the quote was saying that you could never do something wholeheartedly if you don't love it, or if you're not interested in it, or if that's not truly what you want to do. And that's exactly how I felt about my previous job. And to be honest, I still slightly feel that way about this job. And if I'm being honest, I will feel like that for the rest of my life about any job, because I don't feel like I was born to be an employee. Like, since I was a young child, like, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur because my daddy is an entrepreneur. My daddy has his own business. That's all I've ever known him to do. I'm 23 years old. He's been in my life since I was born, and all of that time I've known him to have his own business. So I wanted to take after him. It was just a matter of fact that I had to grow up and realize exactly what I wanted to do. And now I have arrived to those decisions, and I know what I want to do. The next step is executing. So yeah. So it's like the more I work, and the more I'm working these jobs, that for one, I'm overqualified for. I'm not even gonna get into that. But basically, I'm just getting over it. I'm just over it because it's like, well, to backtrack, my previous job, I was a front desk supervisor. So I was supervising people. I wasn't just a PM, working at the front desk doing my thing. I was at one point, but then I got promoted. Well, not really, but I transitioned into a leadership role, and I learned so much. I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about the world, life. I learned so much about people, the public, and I value all of that information. But it got to a point where I was feeling like I was wasting my time. I felt like I was gaining wasted knowledge. I was learning so much about the front desk and the system and how that works, when I knew I had no intentions, no plans on ever becoming a front office manager. So why would I sit here and show up to a job 5 days a week, full time, like committed, when I know I never plan on doing anything with that? So that's why I decided to switch over to the banquets department. Now I'm a banquet server, and which is a little bit more relatable to me because I have always had an interest for event planning, events, hosting, things like that. So if you know what a banquet server is, then we're in charge of anything that's related to the food when it comes to an event. But I work at a hotel, so any event at a hotel where the food is included, we're in charge of that. I just hop right into it. This has been a 5 minute straight rant. But that's okay because I'm trying to make this video quick. But yeah, so it's just like I had to step down from that leadership position because I realized a long time ago that I'm trying to leave corporate America, and that's not going to be the way that I leave it. I saw so much that I did not want to see. I witnessed so much like effed up ass stuff that I'm just like, ooh, child, like this is not my community. This is not the life for me. I had to figure something out quick. I was miserable. I only worked 2:30 to 11. I did not have a life. It's like my life really revolved around that job, and I hated that. I'm sorry for the shaky screen. I'm on the bridge, but I hated that life. Like that just was something that I could not get with. Y'all got a nice little view to look at now. But so yeah, I switched over to banquets. I knew going into banquets it would be a super weird schedule, I guess you can say, because 1 week you can have a 40-50 hour work week because of all the events. The next week it could be no events and you ain't working none. But the thing is, that's exactly what I needed. I needed something like that, so on those off weeks, off days, I can work on myself. I can work on my business. Y'all know I love my personal development. Like I need that time to focus on my mental health, my businesses, and so forth. Because when I work a full-time job, there's no time left to cater to myself. There's no time left to cater to my mental health and stuff like that. And that's a no for me, like absolutely non-negotiable. That's why I could never go back to working a full-time job. Yes, I took a huge pay cut, but that's okay because I know what I'm doing. That's gonna make up for it. It's gonna be worth my while down the line. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to give y'all my perspective on that. Like, don't ever force yourself to be in a situation situation that doesn't allow you to be you. And that's how I feel working at this hotel. Like, the hotel I work at is a resort in Point Clear, Alabama, and it's really catered to, let them tell it, wealthy families, but let everybody else tell it who's there, wealthy white families. And it's like, it has a lot of history and stuff like that, but it also has a lot of Confederate history. So it's not a place. On top of that, I went through some things personally at this job that I do not agree with, that I do not appreciate, and so forth. But I just have a collection of experiences that have brought me to the decision that I just don't want to work for this company no more. And it's like, if I could, I would. Well, I'm not gonna say if I could, I would, because I definitely could. But to be honest, I would like to give my 2 weeks notice at any given moment. However, I know that's not really how life works. Like, you need to persevere. Like, you have to push through shit. You gotta like push through shit to grow through shit. And it's like, that's okay. Like, the fact that I only work 3 days a week now, like, it's tolerable. If I was full time, hell no. But it's tolerable. So it's like, you gotta make do while you can. But I guess the whole point of my story is like, don't let minute things like that hold you back in life. Like, chase your freaking dreams, bro. Like, life is too short. You never know how many days you got left. You never know what's promised and what's not. So it's like, don't ever put anybody else and their needs before yours. In this circumstance, an employer. Damn sure not an employer. And that's how I feel. Like, they try to get me to like move up and become a supervisor in this department, and I'm like, no, like, that's gonna change my schedule. I'm gonna have to go back to being responsible for adults, in which when I felt like I was babysitting. That shit's not that's not the move. Like, it's just too much. Because once you cross that threshold of leadership in corporate America, so much more is expected of you. They expect you to just go above and beyond. And it's like, okay, for me, I'm gonna do that regardless. I'm gonna over deliver regardless, because that's who I am. But I don't feel comfortable doing that when it's a company that I don't stand behind, when I don't stand behind the company's morals and values, because they don't line up to mine. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm pushing through. My goal was, come January, I wanted to be working 1 day a week, but I'm not sure how that's going to be looking, because January is literally like next month. But basically, once I start getting income rolling in within my businesses, the goal is to eventually transfer to 1 day a week, and then eventually no days a week, because it's mileage, it's gas money, it's risking my life on this freaking 10-minute bridge every day, twice a day. So yeah, it's just not worth it to me. Like, I'm so far into my entrepreneurship mode, mindset, dynamic, that I want to do that completely, but I know it's going to take time. So I'm being patient, I'm pushing through. I'm not being a spoiled brat, because like I said, if I could, well, I could, but I'm not, because I could quit my job tomorrow and tell my daddy, and he'll compensate for that. But I don't want to do that. Like, that's not how life works. So, but I can say that I am blessed to have the opportunity, and I do appreciate that. But I'm gonna wrap this video up right here. Sorry for my little 11-minute rant. I just wanted to get that out and show my future self, and show those who watching how my mind, I guess, basically is set up right now, and kind of record this and let you know like what's going on in my life right now, because baby, come next year, come December 2022, completely different, and I'm excited. So y'all, please stay